just to be clear, we're not against people, American citizens, carrying firearms, having firearms. We support it, including trans people. It's fine. But what you're watching here is not the exercise of the Second Amendment. What you're watching here is political hysteria, fear, ginned up on purpose with maximum dishonesty in order to get people in a state of agitation, armed people in a state of agitation. Doesn't matter if they're trans or not, whatever that is. It's the same template always. Scare the crap out of your voters, tell them that their lives are at risk, encourage them to get guns. How do you think that ends?
If it is a template, let's be clear, it's the daily template for the rundown of his and every other program on Fox News. He's suddenly found a way or an opportunity to have a problem with it. The idea that you might scare a group of people so they go and grab some guns and think that they might have to use them to save their life. He has given that call any number of times in any number of monologues, but finally he has a problem with it. Why? Because it involves trans people, it involves gay people, the LGBTQ community. Because apparently some fearing the harassment, the attacks, the possible death that they're facing with these protests from people like the Proud Boys and neo-Nazis showing up, toting assault rifles of their own. Some people think that probably they should have weapons to defend themselves. And he thinks it's fine. He says it's fine. The idea of people having guns is fine to him. Do you know how opposed he has to be to it to describe people getting guns as just fine? In any event, NPR has done interviews with some groups, including Rainbow Reload, of people who are getting guns, practicing with them to defend themselves. Take a look at this.
One of the members, Sharon, recently transitioned.
And I went from concealed carry every once in a while when I was sort of feeling it to every single day, because reading the news, having a few experiences, realizing that I've gone from old cis male white upper middle class, really no real fears about anything, to there are people that just looking at me will want to hurt me.
There's that individual fear of what may happen simply existing in public. But for some, there's also a more organized and ominous threat, including a neo-Nazi group now active in New England that's targeted trans people.
The neo-Nazi group active in New England, the least right-wing region in America. Every state is blue, but there's a neo-Nazi group that's terrifying everybody.
So first of all, I think we should probably note the fact that he finds out that there is an extremist group trying to find and hunt down and kill trans people, and he literally chuckled about it on his show. But also the idea that New England being a blue area means what? That there's no Republicans, there's no right-wingers, there's no extremists, there's nobody who's violent. It's utterly condescending towards his audience. But I'm glad that NPR did those interviews. I think the experience that Sharon talked about there, I think that a lot of people are probably experiencing that, in no small part thanks to the advocacy of people like Tucker Carlson.
Look, first of all, let's acknowledge that Tucker Carlson is a master troller, and he's obviously trolling on purpose, but the fact that his audience doesn't notice it is the amazing part. So he's saying, can you believe that gin up fear over what might happen so that people will go buy guns? That's literally what Fox News does 24/7. He said, scare the crap out of your voters to get their votes. They're coming for your guns. If Obama or Biden wins, they're gonna take all your guns, and the immigrants are coming. The government tyranny. You got to get your Second Amendment rights. Government tyranny. I mean, you got to go. You got to get. Did you get your bunker? Did you get your bunker?
Jake, there's a caravan over there. There's a caravan.
Okay, so that's Fox News 24/7. That's Alex Jones. That's all of right-wing media is characterized perfectly by scaring the crap out of your voters to get them to do what you want. And he knows that. No, Tucker's not a dummy, he knows that 200%. He's trolling you, right? But the audience doesn't notice. They really think, oh yeah, the left, I can't believe they get scared by their guys, you know what I'm saying? And then Tucker in the next segment will say immigrant, they're like, trans people, Okay, come on, right-wingers, come on, right-wingers, come on. So prove me wrong. Tucker's audience, call him out, go, come on, Tucker, you do that every night. Here, I can show you this clip, this. I watch you do it every night, right? So, okay, now, second part of it. All of a sudden, when trans people have guns, not an exercise of the Second Amendment. No, it's political hysteria. Well, first of all, what difference does it make? The number one thing is, you guys do political hysteria on steroids, get guns to fight against the tyranny of government. In other words, be ready to murder government officials like cops and military, etc. But that is not political hysteria, according to Tucker Carlson. A trans person, even having a gun, is political hysteria. So why does he say that, and why does his audience believe him and think that makes perfect sense? Because in the right-wing mind, when they do something, that's perfectly fine. When the left wing does the same exact thing, not at all fine. Because they don't believe in equality. They believe in power. I want the power, I want the guns. I want to make sure you don't have guns and you don't have any power. And if you ask the right wing, they'll be like, I don't get it, where's the hypocrisy? I want to be above you. Where's the hypocrisy? Yeah, of course, I don't want you to have rights, I want me to have rights. Republicans, prove me wrong. Say, oh, there should be, isn't there a firestorm right now? NRA, Daily Wire, The Blaze, if that still exists, shouldn't you all be like, no, Second Amendment rights for all Americans, including trans Americans? Haven't heard one of you. Haven't heard one of you so-called Second Amendment absolutists. Okay, my final thing. I'll be a little bit of a hypocrite here, but it's not. I'll explain why I'm saying it. I don't like guns. I would ban assault weapons in a second. We can go on and on about the gun control that we need in this country. And I always tell people, don't get guns, it'll make you less safe. I'm gonna make an exception here for trans people. They are actually in danger. They have had hundreds of laws passed against them. They have right-wing media ginning up fear against them 24/7. They are targeted more than any other group in America. And if anyone should get guns, it should be trans Americans, okay? Because I'm worried for them. I'm worried that the right-wing lunatics are going to attack them as they have over and over again. And by the way, it's not just right-wing lunatics, other people attack trans folks as well. So, and the last part of it is, the minute groups they don't like get guns, all of a sudden gun rights become negotiable.
Yep.
It happened before in California, and we can get to that. And it was their beloved Ronald Reagan. So maybe the only way to get gun control is for people like transgender folks to get guns, because then all of a sudden, you just saw it with your own eyes. For the first time ever, Fox News and Tucker Carlson saying, I don't know about guns. I'm not so sure about guns.
Cenk, it's so funny because I was actually just thinking of that same example, how the right became incredibly obsessed with their own gun rights when they were fearful about groups like the Black Panthers arming themselves. And so that's why, Tucker Carlson essentially has to downplay this. And it fits well into their narrative, which I've been saying for a little bit now, when they focus on mental health in the wake of mass shootings. They're trying to smear certain, eventually, I believe, try to connect transphobia and no one understands what their gender is anymore to people being mentally ill and shooting someplace up. It's the same reason, by the way, that Colorado Springs shooter trolling, much like Tucker Carlson is doing there, which is a hallmark of the alt-right, sneering, irony-laden online right. Tucker Carlson is way ahead of other mainstream Fox hosts on speaking to those groups, and they're also very white supremacist as well. They're constantly speaking in troll language and trying to goad liberals into stepping on it. That's why that Club Q shooter pretended to be non-binary and used they, them pronouns after attacking an LGBTQ club. And it was later revealed there was no evidence of that. That was a troll. That was his effort to feed into what they're trying to lay the groundwork for, is that trans people, they're too mentally unstable to exist in society, let alone have guns. And that's the thing about the right and fascists like Tucker Carlson too, because they're immune to hypocrisy shaming about guns. They're like, no, our side should have the guns, your side should not have the guns, because we want to be able to dominate you. Like, what is there that you don't understand about that? And Tucker Carlson is brazen in it. And I think it's actually a more effective message for a right-wing base, because the guys like Ben Shapiro, I mean, there's this clip going viral of Tucker Carlson's conversation with Ben Shapiro about where Ben Shapiro says, well, would you regulate technology that would automate trucking and put millions of truckers out of work? And Tucker Carlson says, are you kidding? In a second. And I saw some people praising him for that. But the subtext behind that is like, Ben Shapiro is a free market, capitalist, orthodox, like thinker, right? He's a free market fundamentalist is what I mean to say there. But Tucker Carlson's just like a fascist. And so he doesn't care if he's hypocritical. He wants to preserve in his mind, in that case study, the white majority and their economic power. I don't care if I'm hypocritical about capitalism. I want to make sure that these, in his mind, white truckers have these jobs and have economic power, because that's what I'm preserving. And it's the same instance here with his complete hypocrisy about trans people having guns, because for him, that's irrelevant. He's a paid liar. We know that from the Dominion lawsuit. And this is just another piece of the puzzle of that larger picture, mosaic, I should say.
Yeah, I do agree that like the idea that he would, or more likely one of the Daily Wire people within a week are gonna be calling for bans on trans people buying guns, would seem like, well, that's clearly gotta cross some sort of hypocrisy line. But they spent years talking about cancel culture and free speech, and then they began banning thousands of books around the country. Marjorie Greene was talking about how we gotta cut funding to Ukraine because we gotta stop interfering in other countries. And then literally the next day she called for an invasion of northern Mexico. Like there is, we gotta save the children, but not from AR-15. Like there's nothing that is too hypocritical for them. Because again, like wanting to be ideologically consistent is not a universal value, and I think that people on the left need to understand that. We think that because it's core to our value system, that it must be core to everyone's. It is not. Again, as Cenk was saying, being in an elevated position, having power over other people is a much more core position for right-wing ideology. And so sure, they want everyone to have guns as long as everyone is them. They don't want other people to have them. So I have no doubt that you're gonna have bills being proposed and right-wing pundits are gonna be advocating for it in the near future. Okay, so get them while you can, I guess.
Last couple of things, by the way. When black people have guns and they tell the cops, like Philando Castile, and then they get shot by the cops, no word. NRA, Second Amendment guys, well, he had a perfectly legal gun. Why did the cops shoot him? Nothing. No, it's a black guy who got shot with a perfectly legal gun. Don't care about his Second Amendment rights. Why did California do gun control? Because of liberal hippies? No, Ronald Reagan did it. You know why? Because the Black Panthers went into the Capitol with weapons because they were allowed to. It was legal at the time. And right-wingers that were white panicked. And they're like, ban guns! It turns out black people have them. Okay, that's why we have gun control in California. So this hypocrisy by the right wing has been around forever and ever. And now it's gonna be my new catchphrase. Republicans, prove me wrong. Say, hey, you know what? Trans people should have all the guns in the world and they have the same exact rights as us, and Tucker Carlson is being ridiculous. My guess is approximately 0 of you will do that.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.